Good afternoon. Welcome to Friday, April 18th, 2025 meeting of the Kingston City Land Bank's Acquisition, Disposition, and Construction Committee. We do ask that members of the public limit their comments to no more than 2 minutes per speaker. My name is Mike Gilliard. I will serve as moderator for this meeting. And with that, let us begin. The proposed first agenda item is the Keystone Development. First agenda point being construction with Owen.
Hi, everybody. Um, uh, Keystone progressing well, not too much of a change from where we're at last month, but that's good mostly. Um, Same things last month. Chapel Abbey, Stefan Gill are completed and getting ready to be sold, and so we are in and out of those houses dealing with punch list items or things that have come up during home inspections that we're dealing with, but all smooth there basically. um, Brand and Hasbrook are they both just got their drywall done, and so are feeling very different inside after I think both houses felt like they spent a long time in the framing framing and rough-in phase of their project. But even though the numbers kind of reflected them staying, being on schedule, I think they felt like they were kind of in a similar spot for a long time. But um, drywall's done, and I think that's a real turning point for the projects. And it seems like we should be good on schedule there. Still change orders going in to deal with things, but recently not a lot of new things. Mostly just writing up change orders that we've kind of flagged as coming down the pike soon. Um, The other thing I want to mention about these projects is that we gave the city updated site plans based on our reimagined use of that our three properties on that corner. And they so we showed new fence layouts, and we showed a garage and a shed being demolished that were not previously part of the scope, or we had previously were going to improve them, but city asked us to get demo permits for those demolitions, and so we have those now. The city gave us demo permits, which took a bit, but we got it. That's pretty much what I mentioned for Keystone. Do we have anything about 46 grand on the agenda, or can I say
I,
something about that?
I do have that down below
Okay.
home, but uh, maybe we can get
Okay.
through the
Yep.
Keystone.
Sounds good. I'm done.
Cool. Thanks. Moving on to financing, Kyle.
Okay. Um, Also don't have a ton of new information to report here. Last month I had reported about requisition 15 as pending. Uh, and we just submitted that last week. We submitted the ARPA and the LBI reimbursement request. So yeah, what I presented last week was kind of our pending version of it, and this is last board meeting was the pending version of this, and this is the final version of it. Um, Nearly drawn down on our ARPA funds, nearly drawn down on our LBI funds, starting to draw down more and more on our Novo funds. But yeah, as Owen mentioned, we've wrapped up 4 of these homes, and the balances you see at these 4 homes represent some savings on contingency and additional carrying costs and closing costs that are associated with with selling the properties. Yeah, so right on track with where we hope to be. Yeah, but brief overview of the financing.
Thank you. Could we move on to sales?
Sure. Latest on sales of the 4 completed homes. Gil, we anticipate closing sometime this month, early next month. That's the latest we have there. Chapel and Abbey, we are in process of finalizing both those contracts. We were hoping to have it this week, but I don't expect much more delay there, probably next week, hopefully. And then Stefan, we should have some more clarity next week about the game plan there, whether we're continuing with this this path or we're looking into an alternate. But yeah, everything's moving forward. We have a bunch of documents going back and forth, and we're moving towards closing with all of these, and hopefully moving towards a ribbon cutting at some point soon. So happy to answer any questions anyone has about this position.
I have a slight update to your last point around the ribbon cutting. So at the comms meeting just now, we talked about a tentative date of the 21st of May. So that will be finalized, broadcast, locked in, everything after Kyle and I have got the contract signed. Okay, how about moving down to home? Owen had some goals that he worked through, and you had revised those and sent it around just before this meeting. Slight tweak.
Yes. I'm wondering, do you want me to pull
Yeah,
those up live in this meeting, or
no, I think what given that there's a small audience for this meeting, I think what might be most helpful is to include it in the board package for the next board meeting, and just note that it was something that went through a process, as Rebecca noted at the top of the meeting, a very participatory process with the board. And it's great to be able to be at the stage where we're talking theoretically about what could happen, but I think that's really the extent for this meeting.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
good. So this, just to summarize, we sent around notes of that we discussed in 2 meetings last week. One was looking at project objectives for this new home program, which is our 3 properties we're trying to work on and do new construction on. Summarizing what we're looking to build on each property, rough typology, rough square footage, and driveways, fences, just trying to give us overall objectives to go for. I will flag that as we keep trying to move stuff forward on this project, we're also learning more about our constraints on the project and keep getting thrown little monkey wrenches that we're figuring out how to dodge or adjust to. So
Yep.
I think I expect it'll be a little less like I originally hoped to be, of like March is step 1, April is step 2, June is step 3, and a little bit more like, all right, May is coming back and adjusting to what we learned in April. So, but, and then we also, second page of that document that we sent around was the list of our checklist that we put together for universal design goals for these projects. What we're going to try to incorporate in the houses as we put together the construction drawings. So the hope would be that the ADC just kind of like accepts them as notes that we documenting what we talked about in those meetings, basically.
Great. Thank you. And also concluded an architecture/engineering RFP with a great result.
Yeah. So we had this open engineering RFP, and we were trying to ask for a kind of streamlined engineering or architecture scope for this project, to kind of pair with work that the modular company would do, as far as preparing construction drawings. So we're asking for site plans, foundation plans, basement floor plans. As we learn more about funding requirements, we might wind up expanding some of that scope. But for the RFP that we just closed, we got 10 responses, which is great. And both local firms and further away, and both engineering firms and architectural firms, which we tried to make it open to both. And I'm still sifting through those. So hope to, I sent around the actual proposals folder, and if people can't access that, let me know. I think I have the hang of the sharing the Dropbox folders now, but if it always can be an issue, but and we'll send around some summaries and some recommendations next week, and figure out a short list or firm to move forward with the ADC committee. But maybe trying to push some stuff via email.
That's good. Okay.
I have a silly, or I think maybe tardy question.
Yeah.
Which is that either did you publish, meaning produce or put somewhere a side-by-side comparison between sort of building these houses and doing it in modular from a estimated cost point of view? It seems like such a dumb question, but I just wondered, did you guys do that? And is modular part of its funding requirements, Mike?
It's not a dumb question. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You mind if
No, go ahead.
It's not a dumb question, and it's for this funding, it's not we don't need to use modular. We explored another funding source last year that was more specific about what the delivery method was. In this case, we have flexibility. Last fall, when we were trying to get preliminary sense of what might work, we asked for both a site built and modular pricing from contractors, but it wasn't a RFP in the sense that wasn't a public RFP that we could move forward on. It was pricing requests to contractors that were willing to do it for us, and the modular came in significantly lower, but it doesn't mean we're married to it. If the project takes some wild turn that we change courses, but it at the time it seemed like the modular was what was going to make it to be feasible as a project.
Was the cross mod the funding source that would have had to be modular, or is that was
Yeah,
the opposite, right?
Yeah, that was exactly.
Okay. It's just bumpy and wavy out there in terms of costs and expectations and timelines. It's very dizzying. So I just wondered.
No, and I believe we've Mike or Kyle, correct me, we've said that we're doing modular for this, but we're not necessarily locked in on that. Is that right? Okay. So yeah, there are things like if a company or all the companies available to us suddenly said we can't do anything for a year and a half, we could adjust potentially, but yeah.
Okay, great. I just wanted to know what the backpedal and whether, we had some information to go on if we, had to buy a Chevy instead of a Subaru,
Right.
So I just wondered, and thank you for refreshing me about that.
We're just trying to get a car, Rebecca, to go down the street.
You buy my car. It'd be
Sounds
a very
good.
good deal, actually. Great. Okay.
Cool. So in the spirit of that, one of our first pieces that we're working with in a formalized way is the FUL. What is that, Kyle?
FUL stands for follow-up letter. It's a follow-up letter pertaining to the environmental requirements that we need to complete in order to get the construction on this project underway. We can do pre-development, but we can't do what's called quote unquote choice limiting actions until we have this environmental clearance. So it's something that we have done before with our state funding to a slightly less complex degree. This one is going to be a little more intensive. Some requirements that could, push the timeline out a little bit further. We have to get responses from government agencies that can take 90 days. We're working to expedite everything as soon as we can. So Mike and I have a game plan to tackle these as quickly as possible. We have a few irons in the fire, and we're sent over a few of the responses already. So yeah, goal is to knock out all the requirements in this follow-up letter as soon as possible so we can get to work on this project. Again, some of the requirements require us to be a little bit further in the planning phase of the project, but that's something we're well aware of, and just working to get that done as soon as possible. So big hurdle for the whole project, but something we're working on.
Yep. Sweet. So next, sorry, Rebecca.
Hopeful that it gets it done. Hopeful that it gets done.
We will share all the acronyms along the way as we learn them, Rebecca. There are many.
Oh, I spent all afternoon on with the Office of Taxation and Finance for the state and then IRS. So I have a T54-299 and I can't do it till I get a G646C.
Well, we'll be speaking similar vernacular as we move through this process on our side. Next on the agenda is 46 grand. Thinking first to talk about construction. Owen, wouldn't mind?
Yep. So
Cool.
last month we said that we could not get a condemnation letter from the city, so we were pivoting a little bit about what steps will be leading to our demolition, needing to do an asbestos survey and asbestos abatement before we take down the building, but that we were moving forward with the assumption that we're going to be able to achieve the same objectives, but just with different steps. So we are moving forward with that. We got an asbestos survey, identified what has to be abated, and we have pricing in the abatement. I'm waiting on pricing on the demolition that will follow before we pull the trigger on that, so that we know what the full costs are going to be and make sure it's in line with what we gave the go ahead to move forward. So I expect at this point that it will be, but I will come back if it's something totally different. We also got that property fenced in, which was one of the items on a long demolition guide that the city gave to me. But it's just a good idea. So I'm glad that it's up and that property is fenced in now. Makes it feel like we're paying attention to the place. So we dealt with some other environmental concerns on that property, and that's about it. Trying to get the full demo pricing, and then we can move forward with abatement. Which it'll go abatement and then demo permits, then demolition.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
for the purposes of all the people who watch our YouTube channel, specifically, you're focusing on you have removed the 250-gallon tank that was noted by the council they would not remove, the city of Kingston would not remove. So that's taken care of, which is great.
Yes, both the general concern and the environmental recommendation have been taken care of. We took out a underground oil tank in the property too.
Right.
Yeah, I
Right.
think that happened the last month actually. So
Thank you.
that's another thing that's taken care of.
It's moving. Thank you for that. And
Yep.
next item is HAF. Kyle, what is that?
That was another acronym. It's Housing Action Fund, the Ulster County Housing Action Fund, UCHAF, if we want to make it even longer and more complicated. But it's something you should be familiar with. It's the grant that we were awarded, contracted. I forget the technical term about awarded.
Yep.
For our Third Avenue project from Ulster County. It was $400,000 towards that project. They're doing another round of applications for their second year of this project. And Mike and I discussed applying for this funding for the 46 grand project. This time around, we would be eligible for up to $700,000 in funds from this project. We've had success in the past, so we figured it's worth giving another shot here. And the applications are due mid-May, so Mike and I are working through those now. And yeah, hope to get that in soon and get some additional funds for the project.
Thank you. So next item is Mike. Just briefly, the City of Kingston Planning Board will be reviewing our application for a lot line adjustment that we have been working on for quite some time. So thanks, Kyle, for using the city's online portal system, which appears to be very efficient versus what had previously been the process. And we will go in front of planning on Monday evening, hopefully with a favorable result. And early indications are that they have everything they need and they feel like they understand the request. So we'll see what happens at the board meeting, but it seems fairly straightforward. So I'll give some reports on that. Maybe late Monday evening, maybe early Tuesday morning, depending on how late it goes. Next and final item under pipeline, just to socialize the things that have transpired in the past month. The City of Kingston Finance Committee has passed unanimously the city's amended disposition policy. Many changes not worth going into in detail here, but it's an adjustment related to the state's law in reference to the Supreme Court ruling. And it also opens the door for the Kingston City Land Bank to acquire properties taken through Article 19A, which is a code enforcement mechanism for vacant and abandoned properties to be taken by the city. But more to come on that, but that is my update that it goes to the council for a vote next month. So we're hoping that it's favorable. That is the full extent of the agenda as proposed by me. Rebecca, we don't have quorum, but if you feel comfortable concluding the meeting, or we can stay on for.
I would be. I would propose that we conclude the meeting. And
are you in favor?
We can't conclude without quorum.
Well, I can run back and forth in different places and see. I could try different voices, or I have sunglasses too. That would be helpful.
No, I think we're all good. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for attending on this wonderful day and wonderful weather. I hope you get outside and have a great weekend.
All right, you too. Happy Easter if you celebrate such a thing. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.